Welcome. Tonight, Vice President Kashim Shettima challenges the African Union to adopt diplomacy as the most effective tool for conflict resolution on the African continent. African Missions Global makes passionate appeal to its development partners to prioritize the needs of the less privileged in Africa and beyond. Family and friends of former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase gather in Abuja for Requiem Mass for the 18th police boss. And U.S. President Donald Trump orders the deployment of troops to Portland. On sports news tonight, Carlos Alcaraz eases fears about ankle injury with convincing win over Zizou Bergs to reach the quarterfinals at the Japan Open.
And on business, All Workers Union Pengerson holds crude and gas flow to Dangote Refinery over mass layoff.
The African Union has been asked to use diplomacy as the primary and most effective means of conflict resolution on the continent. The Vice President, who is representing President Bola Tinubu, made the call during a meeting of the AU Peace and Security Council held on the margins of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, United States. While acknowledging the role played by the AU's Peace Support Operations, a unit designed to maintain, monitor and build peace in Africa, he observed that the operation comes at a huge financial cost.
Mr. Chair, we acknowledge the usefulness of AU's peace support operations. However, the operations come at huge financial costs. With the current United States administration and the growing interest of our traditional partners on conflicts outside the African continent, it is becoming increasingly difficult for our countries, at least in the immediate term, to shoulder total costs of peace support operations on the continent. As such, our continent must continue to maintain a blend of military and diplomatic approaches in its conflict prevention and resolution endeavors. Against this backdrop, we urge this Council to ensure that the concept of future peace operations, particularly the UN-mandated ones, make provision for diplomatic and political strategies that will ultimately address the root causes of conflict. We also urge the Council to ensure that the exit strategies of future AU PSOs include elements that ensure that national and local institutions can effectively anticipate and manage shocks and relapse multipliers.
Another word for Africa: utilize trusted homegrown solutions to address global challenges. This was the position put forward by representatives of United Nations agencies, non-profits and faith-based organizations as they gather for the third edition of Horizon 2033, organized by Africa Missions Global on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Our correspondent, Larry Lasisi, has this report.
This is the third edition of Horizon 2033, organized by Africa Missions Global. Gathered here are representatives of some United Nations agencies, partner organizations, and dignitaries from benefiting countries, including the Vice Chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. Olushola Momo, who is a board member of the Africa Missions Global. African Missions Global, a faith-based international charity, is focused on addressing the needs of the less privileged in Africa and worldwide. The theme for this edition is delivering hope at scale, trusted African solutions for global impact.
It is a bold vision, a call to action, a declaration that Africa is not waiting to be rescued, but it is ready to lead. With solutions born of our resilience, our innovation, and collective strength.
The mission's Horizon 2033 initiative aims to impact 100 million lives globally by the year 2033. The gathering is briefed by partners about some ongoing interventions.
We have learned that teacher empowerment multiplies impact, and that innovation sticks when it is country-led, culturally relevant, and built with communities from the start. This is precisely the value that the approach by Africa Missions Global has brought to this initiative, showing that pairing faith-rooted compassion with disciplined execution is certain to produce results.
The gathering also considers how to ensure the mission achieves its target over the next 10 years.
A lot of times, great things are happening. Great things are happening based on plans that are well articulated, but these are not effectively communicated. It's crucial that we build on that in terms of communicating, but it's also important that we see how we strengthen partnerships in between sessions.
This year, the mission's projection is to touch 37 million lives in over 32 countries, delivering hope all the way. From New York, Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
State governments are also taking advantage of the gathering in New York, as the governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, has signed a State Mutual Accountability Framework, CAMAF, with the Gates Foundation. The framework was signed as part of a strategic engagement with the Gates Foundation to strengthen primary health care, improve the agricultural sector, boost productivity and market access. It will also strengthen data systems to support decision-making, monitoring and evaluation, ensuring a transparent budgeting process that is aligned with priorities, as well as enhancing financial and digital inclusion with a focus on women's resilience. At the event, Governor Sani described it as a milestone for Kaduna State's developmental journey. The armed forces will be equipped with modern military hardware to enable them tackle contemporary and emerging security challenges confronting the nation. This was made known by President Tinubu, who was represented by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at the 2025 Nigerian Defense Academy passing out parade ceremony of cadets in Kaduna State. He asked the military officers to uphold the principles of the founding fathers and prove their valor while defending the nation.
You must remember that the goal of the insurgents and terrorists remains to counteract our development reforms by creating counter-states. Yours is to safeguard the economic and core values of our nation, to prevent the collapse of the economy and revitalize our armed forces despite the enemy's indiscriminate violence and baseless propaganda to orchestrate their threats against the Nigerian state. We must never, at any time, lose sight of the vision of the founding fathers of our dear nation, irrespective of the multiple complex security challenges facing our country today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to direct my attention to our graduating cadets, the heroes, keenly awaited by the nation. Gentlemen cadets, I congratulate you again on this most memorable day of your lives. As you begin your journey and career as officers in the armed forces of Nigeria today, there is no better time to prove your valor and demonstrate the virtues upon which this academy was founded in the defense of our fatherland. I trust you to do so with uncompromising dignity, honor, and professionalism. Your convergence here symbolizes our national unity, for you were all admitted into this academy from 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. And of course, we are delighted to note that other countries are also with you to coexist and master the arts and science of building and defending your fatherland and your nations.
To legal matters now. Judges and lawyers need to use artificial intelligence responsibly in order not to erode public trust and confidence. This message was brought to the fore at the Bar and Bench Summit of the Lagos State Judiciary. Participants also spoke on the need for all stakeholders to fashion out an AI policy to aid the delivery of justice. Our judiciary correspondent, Shola Shoyele, has this report.
Gathered here are serving and retired judges, senior advocates of Nigeria, other lawyers, legislators, policymakers, and many others involved in the administration of justice. This is the annual Bar and Bench Forum of the Lagos State Judiciary, a value-driven summit which forms part of activities to mark the new legal year. The summit had the theme, cybersecurity in an AI-driven justice system, the bar, the bench, and the ethical concerns.
We are aware of all that stands to be gained by the use of AI, but we are not aware of all that also stands to be lost or the dangers fraught with the use of AI. Therein lies the basis for calling this intellectual get-together.
And with these words, the host, Chief Judge of Lagos, Justice Kazeem Alugba, threw the conversation open. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, in her remarks, warned that while AI offers efficiency and accessibility, breaches of data and manipulation of electronic records could erode public trust.
As we step into this new legal year, I urge us all to recommit ourselves to the values that give meaning to our calling: integrity, diligence, and service to the people. With these as our compass, technology will not overwhelm us, but will instead strengthen our delivery of justice.
The Lagos State government echoed the same concerns, while pledging continued support for the judiciary's digital transformation.
We shall continue to support the training of judges, magistrates, court staff, and also lawyers in the Ministry of Justice to ensure that they are equipped with the tools to function effectively in a technology-driven world.
The Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly added a political dimension to the discourse, noting the gaps in cybersecurity legislation at the state level.
The House of Assembly in Lagos State that produce the laws where we sit upon to protect interests of the people has no power or that jurisdiction, as you say, to make laws on whatever we want to discuss, and we have been discussing upon. Because why? It is on the exclusive list of the federal government. The question, how do we protect our people here in Lagos State? Why we have a body that serves with the responsibility to make law, but does not have such capacity.
The keynote speaker, digital rights advocate Olumide Babalola, made the case for all stakeholders to come together to fashion out an AI policy.
There has to be privacy standards. For example, e-filing, what is the privacy policy on e-filing? The question anybody might ask, a privacy professional like me, our data, where does it go in e-filing? Who controls it? How secure are these things? I mean, what are the security apparatus? These are questions we need to be asking ourselves, and we need to set this policy.
Other panelists who spoke to the theme also examined both the opportunities and the ethical challenges that new technologies present for justice delivery. Shola Shoyele, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, family and friends of former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase gather in Abuja for a requiem mass for the 18th police boss. That's in a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A quick recap of our top stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima challenges the African Union to adopt diplomacy as the most efficient tool for conflict resolution on the African continent. Africa Missions Global makes passionate appeal to its development partners to prioritize the needs of the less privileged in Africa and beyond. Family and friends of former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase gather in Abuja for Requiem Mass for the 18th police boss. And U.S. President Donald Trump orders the deployment of troops to Portland. In compliance with the directive of the National Judicial Commission, NJC, Governor Hope Uzodinma has sworn in Honorable Justice Ijeoma Agugwa as the new acting Chief Justice for Imo State. Speaking during the swearing-in ceremony at the Ndubisi Kanu Executive Chambers of the Government House of Owerri, Governor Uzodinma says the move is part of the commitment of his administration to protect the state's interests. The governor also appointed a new commissioner for justice and attorney general of the state, Paul Obinatu.
We just witnessed oath taking. And if you listen very well, the commitment there is to protect the interests of our country, in this case, our state. And the only way to do this and come out with the result is to remain focused, respect the oath of office you've taken, and always ask yourself, my actions, are they in proper alignment with the interests of the people? The judiciary has been under siege in Imo State. That was my findings. I underrated the depth of the problem. I tried the left side, I'll meet roadblock. Right, I'll meet roadblock. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a lawmaker. The business of the parliament for 8 years was about lawmaking. So I'm not completely ignorant to the law. But the interests of Imo State, which the law is meant for, should not be cast away.
So other matters now. The Emeritus Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Abuja, John Cardinal Onaiko, has asked Nigerians to live a life worthy of emulation. He was speaking in Abuja at a working mass in honor of a former Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, who died on August the 31st. Cardinal Onaiko says leaders must leave a legacy that will be an inspiration to others.
The atmosphere is solemn as friends, family members, professional colleagues and associates of Mr. Solomon Arase, who died on the 21st of August 2025, converged on the Holy Trinity Catholic Church for a requiem mass of the former Inspector General of Police. The homily by the Emeritus Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Abuja addressed the need for leaders to live a life worthy of emulation.
69 years were not useless years. They were years of hard work, of good service, and I would say successful career in the special field of policing, to which dedicated his lives, both in service and after service.
Away from the church, a final guard of honor is mounted at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, in honor of the former Inspector General of Police. senior officers present at the event gave their final salute after a brief parade.
We are going to miss him. But I believe he has already set a legacy for the rest of us that are remaining to try to follow.
A man who is accessible, has a listening ear, a man who came with a purpose to reform the Nigerian police and transform the Nigerian police force, and that he did. His policies today leave a legacy.
He was PSO to 3 consecutive Inspectors General of Police, a feat that is uncommon. No other officer after him has matched that record yet. Yes, we may have other officers who served as PSO to 2 or more Inspectors General of Police, but to serve 3 consecutive Inspectors General of Police, that is 3 IGs in succession, that record is yet to be matched.
Mr. Solomon Arase served as the 18th Inspector General of Police from April 2015 to June 2016. He later served as Chairman of the Police Service Commission from January 2023 to June 2024.
In Enugu State, some youths under the umbrella of Nkanu Youth Association have called on politicians to suspend the unofficial 2027 political campaigns, describing it as premature. In a conference in Enugu, the group asked political leaders and the current administration in the state to focus on delivering campaign promises and good governance, especially basic amenities. According to the group, the government must urgently prioritize human capital development and review its taxation policy to enable small businesses succeed.
Our roles as youth is clear. We are the bridge between today and tomorrow. As such, we cannot afford to be silent when posterity beckons, when our people and situation demands our collective voices. Recently, we have witnessed a wave of political endorsements across our dear state. While we acknowledge the individuals and groups are free to express support for leaders of their choice, we the youth believe that such endorsements are quite premature. Let all hands be on deck to deliver good governance for Ndi Enugu. Let the politics of 2027 come at the appropriate time. Wherever I appeal to our political stakeholders, leaders, to channel their energy into addressing the real needs of our people.
Trafficked children have been rescued and reunited with their families by the Plateau State government. The Commissioner for Women's Affairs and Social Development, Caroline Dalfor, who disclosed this in Jos, said the children were trafficked from Bassa in Plateau to Anambra State, noting that the suspect behind the act has been arrested. She described the rescue as a significant step in the fight against child trafficking, stressing that the government is committed to defending the rights of the vulnerable in the society. Receiving the children on behalf of Bassa local government area, the wife of the council chairman says measures have been taken to ensure their well-being, including medical checks, school enrollment, and monitoring through community leaders. Several people have been killed and others injured following the collapse of a mining pit in Kaudari in Amaru local government area of Zamfara State. The incident occurred on Thursday while miners were working underground. Sources from the area told Channels Television that about 13 bodies are so far been recovered from the rubble, while several others are still trapped. Confirming the development, the Executive Secretary of the Zamfara State Solid Mineral Development Agency, Nosiru Babanga, said he had received initial reports of the tragedy, but is yet to obtain the details. Meanwhile, in Kebbi State, Governor Nasir Idris has ordered the immediate suspension of mining activities at a gold site following a violent clash that left one person dead. The governor, who visited the site, directed security agencies to take full control of the area until a lasting solution is reached. He expressed concern that Kebbi communities were being sidelined in mining businesses despite owning the land, and warned against the influx of foreigners from Mali, Tanzania, Chad, and Niger Republic.
We cannot allow people that we didn't know to come to this site and constitute security threats to our community here. So therefore, we encourage artisanal miners the way federal government is also encouraging them. But we need to profile. Let us know who are the artisanal miners here in this site, so that we'll be able to profile them. Whenever there is problem, we will know who will hold responsible. So therefore, we are taking this opportunity to ask the security agencies to take charge of this place. We have asked the Ministry of Mining and our DG of our mining agency to sit down with PAGMI and sort out and ensure that all the artisanal miners are being registered. And the state ministry should also ensure that they have a register of every artisanal miners that are mining, not only here, in all our mining sites in Kebbi State.
News now. In a continued effort to promote community wellness, Reddington Hospital, in partnership with the 15th Oniru of Iru Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Oba Abdulwasiu Lawal, has launched a medical outreach program aimed at providing free healthcare services to the community members. The initiative, which was held at the Oniru's Palace, featured free screenings, consultations, and health enlightenment, reaffirming a shared commitment to making quality healthcare more accessible to all.
The palace of the 15th Oniru of Iru Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Omobolahun Lawal, welcomes medical practitioners, volunteers and members of the community in a show of goodwill and commitment to accessible healthcare. In collaboration with Reddington Multi-Specialist Hospital, Victoria Island, healthcare goes beyond hospital walls to offer free medical consultations, screenings, diagnosis, and sensitization to residents.
So when they tell you, you get glaucoma, you go say, no, I don't get. I didn't see well. For my family, all our generation, we didn't see. No problem at all.
I must first commend the effort of the Reddington Multi-Specialist Hospital for partnering with the Palace of Iruland. And I must, as a matter of urgency, also use this opportunity to appeal to the community, Lagosians, and everyone that health is what. It's important for us to always take our health care very, very key.
We are here to tell them the importance of, taking good care of themselves, taking good care of their health, and we say prevention is better than cure. So we are trying to tell them that, so many of these, ailments, can be prevented if they are very, very proactive about their health.
Checking themselves regularly like this one that we came here to do is really, really an advantage for them. And when you check yourself regularly, it gives you more chance to live longer than when you just feel that it's part of life.
Beneficiaries of the medical outreach expressed appreciation for the opportunity to gain access to free medical care right in their community.
I thank Kabiesi for what he did for us about free health and other things. And I thank the people that treat us here. They come in the hospital. God will bless them.
With healthcare taken directly to the people, this outreach has delivered not just treatment, but also hope, healing, and a renewed sense of unity, serving as a powerful reminder that when the well-being of citizens is prioritized, communities truly thrive.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Oil Workers Union Pengasin halts crude oil and gas flow to Dangote Refinery over mass layoffs. That's on Business News. Do join us
again. Stay connected to the world with Channels TV Podcast and get all the trending stories. Simply log on to channelstv.com. Click on podcast, select the program of your choice, and listen. Our podcast is available on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Tap the expertise you trust. Touch the stories that touch you. Anytime, anywhere.
It's a fast beat, unpredictable and full of surprises. The unforgettable moments, unprecedented passion, the victory and defeat in the world of sports makes it engaging. Fasten your seatbelts as we take you through every update in the news and on our shows. We define the moments of true sports. Join us.
Welcome back. IHS Nigeria has released its 2023 and 2024 impact report. At an event in Lagos, the company, alongside partners including the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, as well as UNICEF, highlighted its commitment to driving sustainable growth and social impact across the country.
It's the first ever event hosted by IHS Nigeria to release its 2023-2024 Sustainability Impact Report. The report captures IHS impact activities for the period between January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2024, spotlighting a wide range of interventions to foster sustainable development across the country.
We have always shied away from speaking about these projects or about the sustainability work that we do in the various communities in Nigeria. And the reason has always been because we do these projects for the sake of improving the communities. And the joy that we have from seeing that is enough for us. But I do understand, and we understand in IHS, that we have now to speak up.
The report highlights activities executed under its 4 sustainability pillars.
Those 4 pillars, ethics and governance, environment and climate change, our people and communities, education and economic growth, see us participate extremely actively across the nation, doing work that we feel compelled to do in light of the many challenges that the people and communities of Nigeria face.
The highlight of the event is the official unveiling of the report with partners and stakeholders.
What we are looking at in the future with IHS is really climate education and climate action. So that regroups everything in the sense that children, adolescents, young people have to now think of this planet as being their only planet. There is no planet B. And to educate the youth of today to acquire green skills for green jobs.
Historically, IHS has been what we call media shy. So what we do in terms of give back sustainability is about impact, not really about speaking about what we do for publicity. And what we do is sustainable, what we do impacts communities, because we believe that wherever we have our towers, and that's 16,000 towers strong in the country, we should give something meaningful to the community in which we operate.
From the construction of Ilorin Innovation Hub to involvement in the 3 million technical talent program, partnerships with UNICEF on Nigerian Learning Passport, and the construction of medical oxygen plants in 9 states. IHS vision is to help create a world where mobile connectivity fuels continued economic growth and social development. The IHS approach to sustainability is guided by the UN Global Compact, to which the company has been a signatory since the year 2020.
In Rivers State, some communities say they are beginning to enjoy the dividends from the Petroleum Industry Act, despite the controversies and criticism that have surrounded it. This was disclosed when a team from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, which directly supervises projects under the PIA, paid a 2-day working visit to the area to inspect ongoing projects and commission others. Our correspondent Deborah Agbalama has this report.
Some communities around Obagi in Obaibe Mandoni local government area of Rivers State are beginning to reap some fruits from the PIA. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission is in the area to commission some projects as well as inspect ongoing ones, all geared towards the development of these oil-producing communities. Among the projects inspected and commissioned are a gas filling station, schools, roads, and the foundation laying of a rubber bottling factory, all executed by the Obagi Community Trust Fund with funding from the international oil companies under the Petroleum Industry Act.
I want to appreciate the organizations that made this happen. And then I want to say just one thing. Just yesterday that the information went round that the sale has started. We had close to 100 persons that want to refill their gases. Only today, we had over 70. So it shows that it's a project worthwhile.
They said the projects meet the yearnings of the locals in Obagi communities.
The project themselves are nominated by the communities. What the BOT does as a conscience of the trust is to make sure that those projects are impactful. We have provided a micro credit loan of 100,000 each to over 2,400 rural markets and men, which has created a multiplying effect on the economy of these communities that make up the trust. We have also constructed over 125,000, 5,000 capacity solar power borehole. Like what you are seeing here, we did it across 64 communities. There is none of the communities under our trust that we've not touched. We have built civic centers, we have built town hall, we have touched, we have given street lights, we have given light extension, we have brought transformer, we have given light to where there is no light, we have sent water to where there is no water. It's work in progress. We are not yet there, but we are very committed.
On its part, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission is certain that the projects capture the true essence of the PIA and assures that other oil-producing communities will also be impacted soon.
Yes, I would say that they've done well. I think they've utilized the fund, the 3% OPEX given to them, and to execute these projects in line with the PIA directives. Yes, I would say it represents because the communities elected these people managing the governing body of the trust. So whatever they take, they're taking the decision on behalf of the communities. We supervise and oversee and ensure we enforce the provision of the Act.
For the people of Obagi, these executed projects are seen as the first real benefits of the Petroleum Industry Act. NUPRC, however, reveals that 536 projects are currently at different levels of development in host communities across the Niger Delta region. Deborah Balama, Channels Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has called for unity and peaceful coexistence amongst Nigerians for the overall development of the country. He was speaking at the National Mosque, Abuja, during a special Jummah prayer organized as part of activities to mark this year's 65th independence. The president, who was represented by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, explained that Nigeria can only achieve the dream of her founding fathers when citizens live together in harmony, tolerate one another, and work together.
Allahu Akbar.
The president is asking all Nigerians, irrespective of whatever affiliations, religious, ethnic, whatever, all of us to come together in unison so that together we can build the Nigeria of our dream. The president is asking all Nigerians to forget about whatever differences that there are. Differences will always be there. But there is the message of hope, message of unity, message of togetherness that all of us need to imbibe so that all of us can come together towards the progress and the prosperity that Mr. President has promised Nigerians when he took office. Alhamdulillah, after the second year of Mr. President in office, we have witnessed significant growth in our economy, significant improvement in our security, significant improvement in agriculture and other spheres. The challenges remain, but what is important, as the president always says, is that we are on a march towards that sustainable prosperity that he has promised us. All Nigerians need to come together and shed whatever differences there are so that together we can build the Nigeria of our dream.
Time to find out what's happening in the world of business. Willie Vong has details.
Thank you, Melinda. Now, Nigeria's biggest oil workers union, Pengasyn, has pulled the plug on crude and gas supply to the Dangote refinery. Now, the decision comes after the refinery reportedly sacked nearly 800 workers, a move the union describes as an attack on labor rights. In a directive to members across major upstream companies, the union ordered an immediate halt to crude shipments feeding the $20 billion facility. In response to this, Dangote Refinery has described the order as illegal and cautioned Pengasyn to obey Nigerian laws in its operations. Dangote insists the job cuts were part of a restructuring exercise, but fears are rising that the clash could stall production at Africa's largest refinery and rattle Nigeria's energy supply chain. Meanwhile, Dangote Refinery says it has resumed PMS sales in Naira effective immediately. According to Dangote, this move to lift the suspension follows the intervention of the Naira for Crude Technical Committee. On Friday, in a notice to customers, the refinery had announced that the suspension would take effect from Sunday, September the 28th, blaming the move on the depletion of its crude for Naira allocation, a decision that had unsettled marketers and rekindled fears of renewed pressure on fuel pricing and foreign exchange. The Nigeria Customs Service and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have agreed on fresh measures to ease the burden on manufacturers, including exemptions from the recently suspended 4% FOB levy. At a joint briefing in Lagos, both institutions pledged stronger collaboration to improve trade facilitation, industrial growth, and Nigeria's economic diversification.
The Nigeria Customs Service and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have taken a major step towards strengthening collaboration in support of the country's industrial growth. Both institutions met in Lagos following the suspension of the 4% FOB charge in line with the Customs Act of 2023 to discuss ways of easing the operating environment for manufacturers.
Thank you very much,
Speaking at the joint press briefing, Francis Meshoye, President of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, welcomed the move, noting that manufacturers had long faced challenges such as multiple checkpoints.
And it has been a very robust meeting. We engage, we look at critical issues that affects both the association and the service. And we're able to really agree on some points that will mutually benefit the two entities, that is the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria and its members, and the Nigeria Customs Service with the government on the other hand.
On his part, Comptroller General of Customs, Bashiru Adewale Adeni, assured manufacturers of the service's resolve to balance revenue generation with trade facilitation.
Apart from these issues of 4% FOB, the consultative dialogue provided us an opportunity to review and discuss issues around the operating environment for manufacturing in Nigeria. The engagement highlighted the need for clear alignment between customs trade facilitation objectives and manufacturing sector development needs, with extensive discussions revealing multiple areas of mutual interest and support mechanisms available to boost manufacturing operations for the overall benefit of the Nigerian economy.
Both organizations agreed to set up regular consultation mechanisms to ensure ongoing dialogue on customs policies with the aim of promoting industrial clusters, job creation, and Nigeria's broader economic diversification. Laddie
With
Williams.
the economy and growth, the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise has welcomed Nigeria's stronger economic growth in the second quarter of 2025, describing it as a sign the recovery is gaining momentum despite lingering structural challenges. A GDP, according to CPP, expanded by 4.23%, up from 3.13% in the first quarter and 3.48% a year earlier. The think tank highlights oil and gas as the star performer, with output jumping by 20.46%, its best growth in years. Agriculture also rebounded by 2.82%, while services, led by ICT and financial institutions, maintained their role as a backbone of the economy, contributing more than half of total output. But CPP warns that growth in manufacturing slowed to 1.6%, while sectors like textiles and vehicle assembly slipped back into contraction. It stressed the need for urgent reforms to cut production costs, boost infrastructure, and support non-oil industries to translate growth into jobs and inclusive prosperity. Now, in a major diplomatic win, Nigeria has been re-elected to Part 2 of the Council of International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, in Montreal, Canada. Out of 185 member countries eligible to vote, Nigeria secured 163 votes, joining 11 others on the council, including Egypt and South Africa. Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo, who led the delegation, announced that Engineer Mahmoud Bentuku will represent Nigeria on the council. Mr. Keyamo described the re-election as a strong endorsement of Nigeria's role in global aviation. Now, the victory ensures Nigeria keeps its voice in shaping international aviation policies, safety standards, and development strategies. Now, Providence Bank has entered Nigeria's top league of lenders, ranking 9th by assets after merging with Unity Bank. Shareholders of both banks approved the deal at a court-ordered meeting. The combined entity holds 5.3 trillion naira in assets, 3.2 trillion naira in deposits, 229 branches, and 3.6 million customers. Providence and Unity has hailed the central bank's backing, calling the merger proof of resilience in Nigeria's banking sector and a step towards supporting a $1 trillion economy. And that's it on Business News. It's back to Melinda for more on the news at 10.
Many thanks, Will. In the world of sports, Nigeria's Falconets beat Rwanda 4-0 in a 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifying match at the Lekon Salami Stadium in Ibadan, Oyo State. The Falconets have now gotten a 5-0 aggregate win and a date with either Senegal or Algeria in the third round of the series in February next year. After the much-deserved victory, the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, gave the team the sum of $15,000. Now, in the English Premier League, Brentford defeated Manchester United 3-1 at the G-Tech Community Stadium, with Igor Thiago scoring a brace and Matthias Jensen getting on the score sheet. Elsewhere, Brighton came from a goal down to defeat Chelsea 3-1 at Stamford Bridge. Crystal Palace pulled off the biggest upset of the day, defeating Liverpool 2-1. In other matches, Leeds United and Bournemouth played a 2-2 draw at Ealing Road, while Manchester City hammered Burnley 5-1 at the Etihad. Ante Postecoglou's difficult start to life as Nottingham Forest coach continued as the first goal gave Sunderland victory over Forest at the City ground. Carlos Alcaraz put to bed any injury concerns at the Japanese use of full force if needed. He directed the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to provide all necessary troops to protect Portland, claiming that the move would protect any American facilities under siege from the attack. This announcement marks the further expansion of deployment of troops in American cities amid a wider crackdown by the Trump administration on illegal immigration. 2 people have died while attempting to cross the English Channel this morning. French officials revealed to the international media that the incident happened overnight off the coast of northern France when about 100 people set off by a makeshift boat to try to get to the United Kingdom. They said 60 people, including a family of 3, were rescued and are currently being cared for by civil protection. At least 25 people have so far this year tried to make the dangerous crossing in small boats. And the main news again. Vice President Kashim Shettima challenged the African Union to adopt diplomacy as the most efficient tool for conflict resolution on the African continent. African Missions Global made a passionate appeal to its development partners to prioritize the needs of the less privileged in Africa and beyond. Friends and family of former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase gathered in Abuja for a requiem mass for the 18th police force. The U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of troops to Portland. That's the news at 10. I'm Melinda Akinlami on behalf of the team. Good night.